This is a Macintosh 512K. I got this machine at a flea market auction. It came with this machine and it came with a Macintosh Color Classic. Both of them have problems, and the Color Classic's for another video. This machine worked, except this had the notorious floppy drive failure. The first attempt to repair the floppy drive was to use this one here, which is a super drive from a G3 series machine. You would figure the interfaces are electrically compatible. Apparently not. As soon as I plugged that one in place of this one, the machine started to smoke and chirp, and it was dead. So then I had to trace down what failed on the analog board. Took care of that. It was in its power supply. I forget where it was, but it was one of the resistors in the power supply burned up. But I fixed that. So the only choice I had was to repair this floppy drive. This disc was in the drive when I got it. It's a Macintosh terminal emulator made in '85. Sony diskette, single-sided. Now, what happens with this drive here was sometimes it would read the disc, sometimes it wouldn't, sometimes it would get a SAD-MAC and disc would get stuck, sometimes it wouldn't even go in. Well, what happens is these metal tracks right here had lithium grease on it, and the lithium grease dries up, gets real gooey, turns into goo, and then the mechanism gets stuck. This stuff here works the best. Flux remover removes all that lithium grease, most of it anyway. Then take a can of WD-40, get it in the grooves here, so now it slides fairly well. So it's hard to do this with one hand. No more stickiness. So then I can take this disc, stick it in, grabs it no problem, and rejects no problem. But the next biggest issue is the read-write head. For some reason, these read-write heads have a problem reading the disc after a very long time. What is it, 25 years old now? This drive was manufactured in December of 1984. Let's do the macro. December of 1984. So, anyway, capacitors dry up, the ferrous material in the head changes over time, and a various number of other reasons why the read-write head no longer reads the data properly. Either the signal's distorted or weak or whatnot from the head amplifier. So the easiest way to fix this is on the other side of this head is a screw underneath the main circuit board, and there's a document on the internet, but it tells you how to do this. But what happens is when you adjust the screw, it brings the head closer or further away from the diskette, and bringing the head closer causes a signal to establish well, and therefore the machine now boots from the floppy. Asking for our floppy disk. So let's see, I can put the terminal emulator disk in there, which still works, by the way, no bad sectors. If nobody has a terminal emulator for the 512K, 128K, let me know, I'll make a copy of this disk. Then I have a Macintosh System Tools. That's the disk we're going to put in. And there she is. Of course, when I got both of these machines, no keyboard, no mouse. So this is about as much as I can do with it. So if anybody has a keyboard or mouse or anything like that, let me know. I would be very greatly appreciated for any of that info. If you want to donate or sell for a decent price or what, let me know. Another thing I'm going to do is turn the machine off. Then I'm going to pull this disc out, since I can't eject it, no keyboard. Here's a Microsoft Word disk, but I think this is formatted 800K. But for the faint of heart, let's make sure the eject mechanism is working correctly. Yes, it is. So, let's go ahead and boot our terminal emulator disk up. Also to note, this is not the enhanced series of the 512K. This is the original one. Doesn't support the 800K discs without the super drive add-on. If you put the super drive add-on, you can get 800K as long as you're using the HD20 in it. But that also means I don't think you could boot 800K, but you can read 800K once in the operating system itself. The 512K non-enhanced series are one of the more rare series, as people are upgrading towards the 800K enhanced model in those days. So this is one of the early non-enhanced ones, so probably a little bit more rare than the enhanced one. However, the terminal does not auto start, so I can't show you what it looks like. I don't have a keyboard or a mouse. However, the disk drive is working, so this has been a successful repair. The case is yellowed and got a scratch where a sticker used to be, and I think someone finally figured out how to reverse the yellowing process, as it's the fire retardant in the plastic that actually causes it to yellow, and it's invoked by fluorescent lighting as it produces a UV light. So this concludes this video.